Like there are so there's so many, promise of success these days. You know, promise of how you're going to make it. You know, so much promise, so much unfounded promise. You know, there's a lot of people from different places, different backgrounds, different organizations promising you so many things. So many things. And a lot of people bought into this promise. Like, you're going to become this next month, next year. There's a lot of testimony from people backing that up. That you're going to become this. They did nothing. They slept, they woke up, they prayed, and suddenly, they have this, they have that. So, all these promises of how you're going to make it, but no one actually shows you the way to make it, the steps to take. The steps to take. But what you have to understand about success is to become successful, you need the right information, the right time. And apart from having the right information, the right time, you have to transfer that information into knowledge now. And knowledge is not just having that information. Knowledge is being able to utilize that information. Being able to use the information. There's no good having plans and never putting the plan into work. It's like a doctor or a lawyer spending 7 years in law school. Of course, you've graduated lawyer with a certificate and everything. But if you never practice, if you never use that information, you've just gone through school and you've gathered information. So it's not actually working for you. So when you gather information, you have to use that information. That's how it becomes knowledge. Gathering information, going to school is one thing. Anyone can attend school, anyone can gather a lot of information. People have thousands of books in their house, plans, but putting that into action, bringing it to life, that's the difference between gathering information and knowledge. They say knowledge is power. Knowledge is only power when you put the information you've got into use. So when a lot of people say, with all this promise of success, let them show you the action. Let them show you the steps they took. Not just promising someone success without steps, without action. I want to see the action you took. First year, how long did it take you? How did you plan it? How did you grow? How did you execute? Did you fail? How many times did you fail? Let them show you the steps. And when anyone promises you success and they can't give you the steps, then you should question that. A lot of promises of success without action. And now what I must tell you about action is, to become successful, you need action. Regardless, there's a lot of people who does like horrible things, bad things to this world, but they're very successful. It might be the worst thing, it might be the wrong thing, they might be bad people, but they are very successful in their field. Doing the wrong thing, why? There's an action towards that. They are putting an action towards that. They're driving themselves towards it. They're doing something towards that. Likewise, they're very successful people who have all the information and they put action behind it. They work towards it. They have a plan. They execute. That is how you go from 0 to 100. There's that space. But these days, there's a lot of people promising you success 0 to 100 with a massive blank space in between. Because you're not even allowed to ask questions. How do I implement this? What action, what plans is there? So gathering information is one thing. I'm sure you go to seminars and you see a lot of people paying a lot of money to attend seminars, to attend classes. They've come there to gather information. They've come there to learn how to do it. But that's one thing. Now it's taking that whole information, going and implementing it. And probably less than 5% of the people who attend seminars actually take something from there and put it to plan. So I'm saying again, the whole promises of success. Don't be deceived by that. Don't just let people promise you this and promise you that. When people promising you heaven and earth, that is, they are promising you all this because of your lack of knowledge. They have looked at you, they know there's no way you're going to go and do your own research. They know there's no way you're going to question them. They know there's no way you're going to put anything in practice. So they're promising you success for their own personal benefit. Because anyone would show you plan. Anyone will show you plan. Like an artist who has the best sculpture will show you, this is my sculpture. This is how I started it. This is how I finish it. They present their final work. But when someone is promising you heaven and earth without any plan, you should start questioning. You should start thinking. You should start imagining, how do I go from 0 to 100? What do I need to do? How do I put a plan in place? If I don't have a plan, who do I associate with? So there's a lot of gap, especially in this modern day promises of success in social media, in worship centers. Why? This is prominent because a lot of people have lost hope. A lot of people would do anything, and a lot of people have lost the ability to think for themselves. They just want someone to promise them something. They want someone to give them something. They are there just waiting for something. They wait for something. They wait for something. They hope for something. They believe for something. They pray for something. But they will never take action towards that thing. And that's why we have a lot of people falling prey to all this. Because they want something for nothing. They say there is no free lunch. There is no free lunch. I tell you what, this life is like a restaurant. It's like a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, you gather all the meals you want, wherever you want, put it on the plate. That is the command. It's easy to say that. Put it on the plate. You know, this, that, yeah, fill my plate up. And then you get to the cashier where you have to pay. And now, you could have made other promises, put everything on my plate. You get to the cashier, you couldn't pay. So now, there's no way you're going to take your food because you couldn't pay the price. So life is like a restaurant. You put everything you want on your plate, you get to the cashier, you pay the price for what you want. You have to pay the price for whatever you want. There is no free lunch. There's no free lunch. You tell me how many places you would go to restaurants in this world and get free lunch. There is no free lunch. For everything you want, everything you demand, you have to pay the price. You have to pay the price. And when we start thinking like this, like, if I want this, I have to pay the price. If I want that, I have to pay the price. Then you start thinking for yourself. Then you will never be deceived by any other person. You never be led astray by any other person, because you would take your God-given ability of thinking. You will use that. That is all you need to do. Think. You don't need more than that. Just think and question. Why am I being given a free lunch here? What's the price? Why have I been promised heaven and earth? What's the price? When you start making those connections, those questions, then you begin to understand the difference between all this promise of success and action. The promise of success and action, they're two different things. Promise of success and action. You need that action to go with any promise. You could have the best plan in this world, to build a house by an architect. It's drawn, it's given up to you. But if you don't start laying blocks brick by brick, you would never have an erected structure. You could have all the best plan in this world, and that's information. That is information. The other thing that comes after information, plan, execution, progress, action. If you don't put those things into work, you could stare at your marvelous drawing for millions of years. It will never build itself. You need that action. You need action. We all need actions. Because without actions, there is no end result. We just wishful thinking. wishful thinking. Another thing I want to tell you is we are human. We actually not more than goods or services. We're just like a banana, an orange. If you are not, the only difference between two traders who are selling the same product is the salesperson. How brilliant are they at convincing their customer? How nice are they? How polite are they? That's what brings back customers. So if you are somewhere you're not moving forward, nothing is changing, the first thing you have to do is examine yourself. Examine yourself. If you're selling the same product as every other person, but you're not doing well, you should first examine yourself. Now that's same playing field. We're selling the same product, but they're selling more than me. Why? You have to start asking questions. So when you start changing your attitude, life starts becoming fair to you. They say when you want to change your outside your environment, you change your inside first. You change your inside first before you change your outside. So focus on that. Let go of this lack of successful promises. Without action, nothing. Without action, nothing.